All right, so I'm going to begin. Hi, Mrs. Kawamata. Thank you for coming. I'd like you guys to maybe walk away with one or two things, and if that is a success, if you do that, that's successful, because you can't do everything all at once. So today's about study hacks and tech-related study hacks. Feel free to take notes, but I am giving you the PDF if you want it, okay, with all the links included. So I'm just going to be respectful of your time, and I'm just going to move on, okay? So I'm going to talk about time management hacks, okay? So this is probably the most important one, and it's kind of a life hack, not just a regular time management hack for students, but this thing called Pomodoro, and it's kind of a learning or a job accomplishment kind of a thing. And if you need the app, it's like a timer. Okay, so let me go to the next slide and I'll tell you why it's called this. Pomodoro concept breakdown. So I'm going to start with the main thing and then talk about the extra things. But basically, think about this for how to study for finals or midterms. When you know you're going to dedicate a whole chunk of time, or if you're going to write a paper or do a big research paper or some kind of experiment that you really need to concentrate on. So set a timer for 25 minutes. So studies show that you guys can, people, not just you guys, not teenagers, adults, can really only focus for a short amount of time and be successful with that time. So about 20 to 25 minutes, you guys know how you work. So if you can't concentrate for 25 minutes, start with 15, make it 20, make it 25. But here's the thing that really helps. You work for that time and then you take a 5-minute break, a mandatory break. Okay? I would caution you to avoid picking up the phone, because if you pick up the phone, that 5 minutes can easily turn into 15 minutes, especially if you start playing a YouTube video, if you know what I mean. So take a mandatory 5-minute break. Go get a snack, walk outside, watch a little TV, whatever it is, 5-minute break, and then do it again. And you do it 4 times, and you guys will use that time much easier. Okay? And this is a concept that even adults have a hard time with, but if you get done early, work on something ahead of time and get started on that. So here are the things that it takes a lot of self-control. When you are studying for midterms and finals, you guys have to be real with yourselves. Even for me, if I have a big deadline, if I get a text from somebody and it's on my computer, I'm going to look at it. It distracts me, and then I'm like, what was I doing? So you guys have to actually put your phone on silent or actually disable, just for that one day, all the text coming into your computer. Have it come to your phone, but just put your phone somewhere where you can't see it or hear it. And this is hard, but if you can sign out of your social media, when that picture comes up, it's just funny, and it's just going to distract you. So try to get out of that. And I already talked about blocking the messages on your computer. So if you can set that up and do this, your studying time is going to be much better for finals and midterms, okay? So start out small. This is kind of a big deal. And this is something that professionals do in the business world too when they have large projects. So try it. And we're moving on to reading hacks. This may not apply to any of you. It can apply to maybe one person. I just want to let you know that it's out there. Do you have a hard time reading a whole bunch of stuff online, whether it's a paper or an article? It could even be Wikipedia. It's kind of hard to just focus. There's this free extension called Beeline Reader. And it's a Chrome extension. I will show you how to use these extensions, get them onto your computer at the end of the session. But basically, I'm going to show and tell. This is what Wikipedia looks like, an article. Oops, sorry, I did it again. This is what it looks like, regular. And if you enable the Beeline Reader, it makes a gradient. So oftentimes when I'm reading something that I consider boring, I forget where I was. But if you are reading something that, not so interesting, it'll be helpful to actually keep your attention, and you can choose the colors also. So that's something that one of you may use, none of you may use. Just depends on what your reading ability is. So this is how you enable the extensions. Okay, they all appear as little icons here. Don't worry about it because I'll get to that later on. Organizational hacks. mostly for underclassmen, the freshmen and sophomores. I know this might be really simple, but once I started to use Google Docs, I was really lazy about naming things. Like I would just start typing it and and then when I had to find it, it would take me like 5 minutes because I'm looking by date, I'm trying to look for by title or who shared it with me, and it's kind of a waste of time. So I learned that for students especially, be smart of you and be smart of your teachers to maybe say, put an actual title on it that you're very consistent with so you can find it every time. Okay, so that is just titling assignments. And those of you who write notes, do you ever lose your notes because you're just not good at keeping your backpack organized? But do you ever lose your phone? Probably not, right? So take a PDF, a screenshot of it, change it into a PDF, and just put it into Evernote free, Google Drive free, or Dropbox. So you'll never lose your notes. So if you have Mr. Caldwell and you don't want to lose those valuable notes, just put them all in Dropbox. Okay, so it's handwritten because you have to do it by hand in his class, and you won't lose it ever. Okay, and if you need to print it out, great. If your friend wants it, great, just share it with them. So use your note-taking abilities of like writing it down. You do retain more, and just take a picture of it, okay, and organize it there. Because you guys are much better with tech things. Did you guys know that you can color code and organize your folders in Google Drive? The next slide shows you that. This is mine. You can actually change the folder colors, and it'll all be organized, and then you won't lose your stuff anymore. Okay, so that is something that hopefully will help you. All right, calendar hacks. How many people are starting to use Canvas? Some of you. Now, I know that the juniors and seniors, you're probably not trained to use Canvas because your teachers honestly haven't been really using it. But this year, there's kind of a movement towards trying to do it even for you guys, because if you go to Kairos, if you miss a game because of athletic event, it'll help to have all that up there. Especially, so calendar hacks. So here we go. Did you know, most of you underclassmen probably know that you can actually put your phone number in here, and anytime a teacher updates something, you'll get the text message, okay? And I know this is not really something that you need, probably, but if you're really bad and you have like a tutor, not bad, I'm sorry. If you need help and you have a tutor that actually helps you, organize your time so that you can be successful in the actual assignment, you put the tutor's number in here. Let them help you, okay? And I know that you're not going to do this, but you could even put your mom or dad's cell phone or email in here. I don't suggest it. That's like going too much. You guys are more responsible than that. But that is the Canvas setting. All right, speeding on, writing hacks. How many people, well, I don't. How many people love to write rough drafts? Okay, you two are different. Okay, so good. But a lot of people don't like doing it. It's really hard to get started, right? It's the first thing. So enable the voice typing. Did you guys know you can do that on the Google Docs? Okay, so this is, I show you how to do this, but basically you enable the voice typing, start talking your thoughts through. And when you're done, all you have to do is go back and fix a few things, and you already have a rough draft just by talking it out. And that will save you a lot of time and effort and anguish for those of you who don't like to type stuff out. Okay? So this one's a really good one. So voice typing. It's free. Grammarly. I have a couple of teacher friends here at Loyola who use Grammarly. When you write an email to somebody or someone writes one to you and it's filled with like spelling errors and stuff, the automatic response, unfortunately, is, oh man, that kid can't spell, you know? And then the spelling, the punctuation starts to distract the reader from what you're actually trying to say. You could be the smartest guy, but if you can't spell, it gives a misconception that that you're not as good. And you don't want that, and I know that everyone in here is pretty smart, so try using Grammarly. This is not the answer to, It's not a replacement for learning how to spell and all the grammar, because you're going to get tested that in that class. But all of your communications with your teachers, with job and college people, it'll fix it for you. And it's free. So it's called Grammarly. It's free. And right now they have a 50% off discount for the advanced one. So it's about $60 for the entire year. It's kind of a lot, but if you are going to do a lot of college communication with college people, potential, like, I don't know, whatever else, you might want to look into that. So that's Grammarly, and this is how you do it. So step one, if you're not familiar with Chrome extensions, there's that 3 dots. You click that, and then you go to More Tools, and then you go to Extensions. And remember that I am giving you this presentation in PDF, so you don't have to take notes. And this is what it looks like. You go to the web store. I had slow Wi-Fi, so it's going to take a little bit of time. And all the extensions that I talked about today, you just type it in. Like I told you, if you walk away with one tool that helps you do something a little bit better, that's a success for me. Okay? So that's Grammarly. All right. Do you write papers all the time for your English class? Okay. You know how your teachers are they're sticklers for what kind of format you use. MLA, APA, Chicago. Once you do it once, and you know, Mrs. Pardo, anyone have Mrs. Pardo? Awesome. I noticed that when you do a new doc, you can actually, instead of making it from scratch each time and doing the formatting, you can actually use a template that's already online from Loyola. Mrs. Pardo actually put a sample that's already formatted, and all you'd have to do is make a copy, change the title, change your name, and start going. Do you guys kind of see that? How much time would that save you each time? Just make a template each time, okay? So there are MLA, all I saw was MLA, so, and I'm just making stuff up, okay? So for English, and trying to show you that you should get used to labeling things so you can find it later. All right, lastly, SAS Writing Reviser. If you're terrible at grammar, look into this, because it'll tell you what you're doing wrong, and it'll give you a weekly report on types of things you keep doing. You're forgetting your commas, you don't punctuate, or your spelling is off. So you can really focus and see, what am I bad at, and how can I improve? It's not like, it's just to make you aware of it, and it'll tell you what kinds of sentences are wrong. Like if you use too many passive verbs, it'll tell you. So you can really step up your writing game with this SAS Writing Reviser. I personally don't have much experience with this. I just know about it. And this is my last slide. You guys have to get real with how much time you spend on your apps. Okay, so there are 2 things. Like this is for, I think your parents should do it too, because I think that parents have to lead by example. If they're always on their phones, I can see why you would be like, well, I cannot be on my phone while I do my work, right? So I think that once in a while, you should actually spend some time and figure out, what do I actually spend the most time on? And by doing this, you're just becoming aware of where your time is going. It's like having a budget. If you want to buy a car, you got to be aware of where you're spending your money so you can get that car. Do you guys kind of see that? So it's about budgeting your time, and getting real with yourself is a lifelong lesson, and that's it. Okay, so my last slide is, now that I've given you some time-saving tips, what can you do with your extra time? You can go spend time with your friends, go play video games, watch more YouTube, whatever. But that's it. So thank you very much.
I love what she said. Even if you walk out of here with just one tool that you didn't know about that will help you, there you go.